Welcome back to Bloopy Doop, everybody.
And we got bad blood.
Wait, when did you get this outfit? I don't remember this.
We did that last time, yeah.
I don't remember this very foppish outfit.
You weren't paying attention? I made a comment on it and you just ignored it, I think.
I guess.
Oh,
We're in the ice.
What was I doing? We're
Going through the fire and the flames.
trying to beat the boss.
By which I mean the ice. Dude, I was telling Victor this earlier, but I watched a speed run of this game. All bosses, 1 hour.
Assholes.
It's incredible. There's some exploits in there, some glitch exploits and shit, but like, man, the dude just runs into each boss and just kills them, just instantly, just kills them, just fucking destroys them. Like it's not even. Like, they are not any kind of challenge to him whatsoever. He usually has to do, like, one dodge, then he shoots them. If, like, anything the opponent does is punishable. Like, anything that he doesn't avoid just by hitting them is him punishing them for even trying.
Well, isn't he special, huh?
It's like being an overdog, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
The alpha?
Yes. Well... like a fucking, like the main character of the Asterisk War, just so overpowered that nothing's a fucking contest for you.
Well, I'm sorry I'm not that special at Bloodborne.
I don't know why you have to interpret it that way. Like I was insulting
I was just being
you.
Stupid.
Yeah, so I watched it. It was a good time. I was playing DS at the same time.
Whoa.
You know, I bought Shantae and the Pirate's Curse because fucking Nate kept hyping it up. I gotta say, he overhyped it for sure. It's not a bad game, but like, he was making it out like, oh man, it's like the best fucking, it's so amazing and perfect, and it's just kind of average. Like, there's nothing all that special about it at all, other than the art. Like.
Yeah.
And I don't even mean the in-game art. I mostly mean the character art. Yeah. Like when it does cutscenes and shit.
The main girl looks cool.
She is fucking hot as shit.
Like, I didn't really think anything else about it seemed all that good. So I was like,
all of the characters are insanely hot women with huge tits, and I'm sure that's why Nate likes it. Like, that's a big part of why he likes it. But like the game itself, I mean, it's not bad, but like. It's very much in the vein of, like, a Castlevania game. Because, you know, I'm thinking about making a video about the term Metroidvania and how abused I think it is.
Yeah.
God, this TV's a little too loud. Or at least this boss is a little too loud. His fucking attacks all make, like...
totally insane. It's all scream. What the fuck? Holy shit!
You know, we could come back to this guy later. Like, that speedrun dude I watched, he did this guy, like, last.
Yeah, I mean, I usually do him a lot later, but I did it earlier this time to, like, have a little bit more of a challenge.
I think we should hold off on this guy.
Fine.
He's a little OP, and it takes a little long to get back to him. You know, like, that just... Yeah. It was, like, a whole minute and a half for you to get to him, and I don't want to have to watch you make that trek 1,000 times.
Let's, start doing the DLC.
Okay. Is that easier than that?
The boss might not be, but I'll get some Titanite chunks to fucking upgrade my whip.
Yeah, or get a new weapon at some point.
Oh yeah, I can get my new weapon. That'll probably help a lot, actually. That's right, I would have killed him with that last time.
So anyway, what the fuck was I talking about? Shantae, yeah, Metroidvanias. You know, in fact, this is just going to be... I'm just going to explain this, and if you later see a video from me that explains the exact same thing, then, you know, have fun with that. But, okay, I love Metroid, right? And the idea of the Metroid games is that you're put into this world, and you're given pretty much no direction, and you just kind of run around... And you'll find dead ends. Like, the whole game is about finding dead ends and then going back and then finding a new power upgrade.
Yes.
And then realizing that you can use that upgrade to get past the dead end, right?
Yes.
So, like, you might pick up a new laser that opens certain doors, and then you realize you can go back and open the doors that you couldn't open before. Or a new jump ability or something, you know? And so the game's all about exploring this world and just kind of figuring things out by seeing them, you know, remembering where you've been and then planning a route based on that. So what's the difference? Why are you able to go to the DLC now when you didn't before?
Because I have an item in my person. I was frenzied.
Oh. That thing has 6 fingers.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Curse the fiends.
that's what Metroid's about. And then, at some point, Castlevania Symphony of the Night was made by Iga, the dude who is now making Bloodstained, and everyone called it Metroidvania because they sort of took the mechanics of Metroid and applied them to Castlevania. When in reality, Castlevania 2 had already done it. Like Castlevania 2 had this big sprawling map. But the problem with Castlevania 2, in comparison to Metroid, is that Metroid had, like, it was an action platformer where the mechanics, like, made sense for the way the world was laid out.
Yes.
Because, like, you had to shoot enemies, for one thing. You have a ranged weapon. So the game is largely based around, like, shooting enemies, jumping on ledges, getting new power-ups to jump on ledges more. But it's like a platformer game, you know, like... The challenges are mostly based on being able to pull off the platforming. This place is cool. This is the DLC now.
We are in the Hunter's Nightmare.
But like the Castlevania games, all they really copied was the going and finding dead ends and then needing something to get past that dead end. They don't really have the same platforming challenges, which is ironic because the original Castlevania, the first game, was all platforming challenges. You know, like, that was the whole game, was seeing how you could get past these incredible platforming obstacles. And as Aaron Hansen described in the Castlevania 1 versus Castlevania 2 video, you know, in Castlevania 1, everything is designed to go through it one way, and so it's all these, like, really intense challenges, whereas in 2, it's designed for you to go back through it both ways, and they made it so the enemies just kind of spawn wherever, and you just fucking knock them out and keep going, and there's no real challenge to the way you take out enemies. You just hit them a certain number of times, and they're dead, you know? And I feel like the Metroid games have always been more about the exploration and the layout of the world and the platforming, and, like, there's not a lot of enemies in a lot of the Metroid games, you know? The one with the most enemies was Fusion, which had, like, a lot of bosses, but, like, for the most part, it's more about wandering around and the atmosphere and the feeling of being in this world.
Yes.
But Castlevania fucks it up with Symphony of the Night and all the games afterwards because it's random shit. Like, the whole game is just hallways. It's just random hallways and random assortment of enemies and random, like, visual design that doesn't connect to each other well. There's no cohesion to the castles in Castlevania. They just feel like a big mumbled jumble of shit, you know, with, like, no consistency in the enemies. You'll fight giant fucking enemies that you kill in one hit, you know, and then, like, you're like, what the hell was that? You know, that was weird as fuck. So yeah, I feel like the Castlevania games that are referred to as Metroidvania are not really the same thing as Metroid, and it made sense to describe a Castlevania game as a Metroidvania game, because it was a new kind of Castlevania that was more like Metroid than it was like Castlevania.
Yes.
But the problem is that it became a genre title that describes all games that fit into that category, like, you know, all games that are similar to that. But there's really two different types of Metroidvania games. Ones that are actually like Metroid, and ones that are like Castlevania.
Yes.
And so I think the term has kind of gotten bastardized in that way, because, like, if you play Axiom Verge, that game is just Metroid. Like, there's no Castlevania-likeness of it at all. It's just like Super Metroid. And then if you play Shantae, the Pirate's Curse, which everyone describes as Metroidvania, it's really just like the Castlevania games. It's not really like Metroid at all. You know, it plays like Metroid 2 or Symphony of the Night. I mean, Castlevania 2 or Symphony of the Night, or fucking, you know, Aria of Sorrow, any of those other Castlevania games. So I think we've run into an issue where people don't seem to know the difference between Metroid and Castlevania anymore. Yeah. Because everyone's heard that term so much that they just assume they're the same thing. And they're not the same thing, you know. That video I made on Metroid clones, you know, Axiom Verge and, what's it called? The other one I fucking talked about. Those are Metroid, you know. And you can tell by, if nothing else, the projectile weapons and the way the upgrades work. And, like, another big difference is that in Metroid, every upgrade you get affects the way you play the game. Like, you get a new jump ability, you get a new gun, you get something that like that you can do. Yeah. Whereas in Castlevania, you often get shit like you do get stuff like that, but you often get stuff that's just to progress to the next room. You get like a key, you know, that'll unlock a door somewhere, which is how Shantae is. You'll get like, you know, like item. It's got like an adventure game element to it, where it's just like finding things that allow you to make progress rather than things that change the nature of the game. And, you know, so far the game has pretty much just been jump and whip things with your hair. You know, like that's the only real combat mechanic.
Whip your hair back and forth.
There's a couple upgrades you can get to, like, make your hair stronger and shit. But, like, it really is a lot more in the vein of Castlevania and not much in the vein of Metroid. Which, you know, I'm a much bigger fan of the Metroid style than I am of the Castlevania style. So, and of course, I don't think Nate knows any of that shit I just said, so he was just like, yeah, it's an awesome Metroidvania game, and I'm like, it's really just a pretty good Castlevania ripoff, you know, like, that happens to have some really hot characters in it, but, so far, out of what I've done, none of the, like, challenges have been interesting at all, you know, like, it's also, I wouldn't even call them challenges, the game's easy as fuck, but, like, in spite of having an obnoxious lives system where if you die, you have to respawn at a checkpoint, which is stupid and annoying. But, and I should say the way it's handled is stupid and annoying. But anyways, what is good about the game is the narrative. The characters are funny, the dialogue's funny, and, like, the things you do are funny. Like, there's a part where you have to fill up a pool. There's these two hot girls who are standing next to, like, an empty pool on an island, and they're like, oh man, we came here for spring break, but the pool's dried up, you know, like, if only someone would make the water come back. And then you, like, go up through the level, and you find out that there's this giant lizard at the top of it, and if you make him smell ham, then he starts drooling, and his drool fills up the pool down below. Ham. Yes, because the girls were making a ham. Like, if he smells the smell of, you actually capture the smell of ham in a genie bottle, and then let it out in front of the monster, and it starts drooling, and its drool fills up the pool below, which is, like, disgusting, you know. But the girls down below are like, "Oh yeah, you did it! You fixed the pool!" And, like, it's hilarious because they're both, like, standing there in, like, you know, like, tight t-shirts or whatever, but then they both, like, throw off their t-shirts and they're in bathing suits, you know, and it's like, kind of like your reward for doing this is that you see these hot girls, but then the irony is that they are, you know, jumping into a pool of saliva and not realizing it. So, yeah, it's got a lot of that kind of clever, funny, you know, stuff that you do, and the dialogue is often very meta.
He got me.
Yep. Like, there's one guy, you run into this octopus dude who I guess was a boss from the previous game, and he's depressed because he has post-boss blues, where he thinks that, he's like, I'm probably going to end up just being a mini-boss in this game because I was already a boss in the last game. I just want to get away from it all and go on a vacation.
What the fuck was that a little attack you did? Man.
Yeah.
I died.
I talked more about Shantae than I expected.
Yeah, I drifted off.
I figured you drifted.
I don't know what's up or what's down.
I could tell of the moment when you stopped replying to what I was saying, I knew you had stopped paying attention.
I was like, yeah, Metroidvania. I haven't played Castlevania games, so...
You haven't played any of them?
Nope.
Man, get your life together.
Nah, man. Fuck it.
Ironically, I think you would like the Metroidvania games more than the first few Castlevania. Because, like, Castlevania 1's just fucking hard. It's just like, here's a bunch of platform challenges, throw your head against them until you beat them. And I will even admit that I played it with save states, you know, like...
Wow.
Well, because the game actually has a fairly forgiving live system, but the way that it works is, like, if you die, you go back to the beginning of that part of the level.
Yeah.
And then if you go back, if you lose all your lives, you go back to the beginning of the level. But it's not that much farther back. It's just kind of a pain in the ass. So I used save states at the start of each level so that I could just go back to it if I got a game over. And I couldn't beat it. I couldn't beat the fucking second to last boss, which is death.
Boulders!
It was really fucking hard. But the Metroidvania games are just action RPGs where you just run around, slaughter shit, and live. They're a lot like Dark Souls, but without the level design.
Yeah.
You know, like that's the biggest problem I have with them is that the levels are just fucking hallways. You just run through and you kill everything and you move on. You know, there's no like challenging layouts or anything. It just feels like a grind
Watch
fest.
this dude fuck up these guys.
And as Ego Raptor once again put it, like, I do agree with him that like the thing that makes those like the Castlevania games fun, because everyone loves those games. Everyone loves Symphony of the Night. Everyone loves Aria of Sorrow and all those other ones. And like what makes them good is just that the visual and artistic presentation is so good.
Yes.
You know. All right, this dude is just like sleeping up in a chair, chilling out. He looks kind of like the first boss.
Yeah, he's
on
just
fire.
like him. We don't fight him yet.
He is.
He is a secret boss.
I see.
Yeah, so we'll come back and fight him. Which, ironically, like, that was the easiest boss in the DLC for me the first time I fought it, and I didn't fight it the second time. And then Shade said that it was the hardest boss for him.
Yeah.
Because he was using a different weapon. And then, so I'm like, I don't know this time, you know, how hard it's going to be, because I'm using something other than what I used the first time I played.
Who knows, buddy?
Could be fucking impossible.
Yeah. Right up his ass.
Let's fuck up this big guy.
Yeah. Didn't you play the?
Oh shit!
Didn't you play one of the Castlevania DS games?
Yeah, but
Ruin
like,
or whatever?
not to any credible extent.
I think I played it more than you did.
Oh shit!
And then I like lost it because you had given it to me, but then I haven't been able to find it at some point because I wanted to play it.
Fuck! I haven't like gone toe to toe with this dude. I always just backstab him. Lord.
Fun fact that not a lot of people probably know, I did an analysis video on Castlevania Aria of Sorrow on our old channel, Modal Soul Productions, back when I was doing the series Adventure, Action, RPG.
You did your little
yes.
action RPG series.
The Aria of Sorrow video was like, I had written it as a text post and I wasn't going to make a video out of it, but then I did. And I did a 1.5 minute little intro that was supposed to be the short version. Because basically, I didn't really know how to YouTube yet, right? And I was trying to figure out things. And I had been watching a lot of Hey Ash, What You Playin'? Which is just like, you know, really short, funny videos that kind of a little bit address a game, you know?
Yeah.
And so I thought, what if I made a video where like the first minute is like the short version of my point, and then people can just stop there if they just want to see something short and funny, and then the video continues onto the long version. Of course, I didn't think about the fact that like the time code is still gonna say, you know, 10 minutes, and nobody's gonna click on it if it's long.
True.
But so I did a skit for the first 1.5 minutes where it's me and Shade talking about the game.
I remember you doing that.
It's fucking awful. It is awful. It's badly shot, badly acted. I look terrible. Like, I look like I haven't fucking bathed in a year. And
it's probably true.
Like, it's funny. People, like, I make videos now and people are like, oh man, you need to clean yourself up. And it's like, I'll have showered 5 minutes ago. Like, the video I put out.
Because you look inherently fucking messy, dude.
The video I put out where I said it was like my Digi's 2015 roundup. I don't even look that messy. People were like, you don't bathe. And I'm like, you're just saying that because I have a long beard. Like,
it is a pretty scraggly beard.
Right, but like I had just gotten out of the shower. I don't understand how bathing affects the scraggliness of your beard. I don't understand how people think that.
It reminds them of like dirtiness. And
it's retarded because I look clean in the video. Like, you would know clean. If I looked dirty.
Yes.
Go watch that Castlevania Aria of Sorrow video. You will see me looking like I have not had a bath in a little while. My hair is all like sticking up over my head and shit, and it's all like matty and stuff. And Shade also looks like he hasn't bathed in eternity.
Because he hadn't bathed in eternity.
So like, yeah, we both looked like garbage, and it's a stupid joke, and it doesn't deliver well, and the audio sucks. And then it launches into the analysis. And, like, I don't know, it was kind of funny, because, like, I stand by all of...
Still got hit, though.
I stand by all the stuff I said as, like what I felt about the game. But afterwards, I felt like I could have represented, like, why people like it more. You know, like, I kind of rag on the game a lot, but then it's like most people love that game, so I feel like it would have been better if I did a video about why people love it anyways, you know?
Man, cool. Look at cool.
And it also has a little bit of the Souls game element of having like a lot of hidden areas that you might not know about unless.
All right,
you know
I want to ask you. Would you say?
Wait, is this gonna be leading into a big topic? Because we need to end the episode in like a couple seconds. Okay.
Oh well. I don't know, it depends on you, but would you compare Bloodborne more to Castlevania than you would to Devil May fucking Cry? Because it's nothing like Devil May Cry!
Dark Souls or Bloodborne?
Bloodborne.
I would compare it more to Devil May Cry than to Castlevania. I would say the RPG systems of the game are more like Castlevania, but like the actual gameplay is much more like Devil May Cry.
Definitely.
You haven't fucking played Castlevania! You don't know shit about fuck! You know nothing! Castlevania is a game where you have one attack button and you just whip, and the enemy dies! There is no combat system in the game!
The combat system aside, like, structure, gameplay,
no, it's more like Devil May Cry! It's actually more like Devil May Cry in the structure of the game! It is actually, honest to God, more structured like Devil May fucking Cry 1 or 3 than it is like fucking Castlevania.
Okay.
Next time on Digi Bros.
Nothing like Castlevania.
I will die on
Still
this
nothing
hill.
like Devil May Cry.